Hello, a very warm good morning to each and everyone. I know that you will be really surprised to see my face and hear me because I'm a total stranger to all of you. So, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Sri Lakshmi. I'm a Malayali, I'm from Kerala, and I'm obviously your new English teacher. And so, as I told, I came from Kerala. My native place is Thrissur, a small district in Kerala, and I'm married into Calicut. And what more about me? I have, when I'm talking about my family, my parents are in abroad. I have a sister, and I have a younger brother. And then as I told you, I'm married into Calicut, and my partner's name is Rahul, and he's a filmmaker. And so about my qualification, I completed BA and MA English Literature. After that, for 3 years, I worked in different colleges as English lecturer. And fortunately, this is my first experience teaching in a school. So I'm really happy to handle this group as your group of age. And this is really a charming and energetic age, actually. And so, what more about me? I know this is a really hard time. We all are just we are closed inside our home for long 6 to 7 months due to this pandemic and quarantine days and this lockdown and all. I'm really hopeful. I'm looking forward to meet each and every one of you in personal, indirect, and we can build a good kind of relationship and rapport further. So let's hope for that. Okay. So, as you all know, I'm handling English, and I would consider it as my privilege to start my first class with the London's most famous, promising poet or playwright, and English literature's foundation. Who is that? Who is the foundation of English literature? Who is the most famous poet of London? Who is the father of dramas and all? It's William Shakespeare. As a aspirant person who really loves English literature, I consider myself really lucky to start our class with Shakespeare. It's really a blessing. It's blissful. He's the most artistic and most contented writer ever seen in English literature. So, first of all, let's see what all things we know about Shakespeare. Just tell me, you have ever heard about Shakespeare? Ever heard about Shakespeare, William Shakespeare? I'm pretty sure that you would have heard about him. There is no chance in missing hearing Shakespeare. Even if you don't know who is he and all about his writings and all, you will be pretty familiar with that name, right? So first, let's check who is he, and let's have an analysis about him. Okay, a brief analysis. So William Shakespeare is the most famous English playwright, poet, actor, theatre person, and much more. He is the most famous person in the English literature. He was a playwright, he was a poet, he was an actor, he was a theatre person. He was he was there in many plays, he was an aspirant actor. He is considered as the greatest writer in English ever. Till this day, he is considered as the greatest writer in English literature. The pillars of English literature is actually the plays and the text written by Shakespeare. And he is considered as England's national poet too. He is considered as the country England's national poet. Okay, and do you know how many poems or how many plays, how many texts have he written? Do you have any idea about that? Actually, he has written many works. To be very precise, he had written 39 plays, including Merchant of Venice, King Lear, Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, Julius Caesar, many very famous plays by him, is it? Even his plays are even now staged in different parts of the country, different stages, in operas, and there are films, there are more adaptations and many things. So in total there is 39 plays written by him, 154 sonnets. He had written 154 sonnet. And what is a sonnet? I'm not going in depth details to sonnets and all, but I'm just mentioning about all these things. Actually, sonnets are small poems. Only they will be having only 14 lines in that. So Shakespeare has written 154 sonnets and 2 long narrative poems. All 2 long narrative poems, long poems. So he have 39 plays, 154 sonnets and 2 long narrative poems. This is all the things that we know, like it is published in the name of Shakespeare. But the English literature world believes that there will be much more scripts, much more textbooks written by Shakespeare in pseudonyms, in other names, in fake names and all. He would have written many things, but only things published in name of Shakespeare is this list. Okay. And his plays are even now translated into many other languages worldwide. In many languages his works have translated, and worldwide people are reading it, researching it, doing works on it, doing movies on it, doing plays on it. So it is it's a universal artistic piece it is. And mainly his plays are his works. Maybe it's a story, it's his plays. And so when we are talking about his plays, he is very perfect, and he is very beautiful. He is a very potential writer when he is writing plays, theatre plays, dramas. So his dramas have a category. It is categorized into 3. Like his plays were categorized as histories, comedies and tragedies. He writes many plays, and there will be 3 main categories for these plays. Either it will be of comedy, either the play will be from the history, or it will be a tragedy. So comedies, histories and tragedies. Actually, his plays and his works comprises of many characters. He is very good, and he is very talented in setting or taking the person. I'm sorry, I think there is a sound issue. I'm really sorry for that. And what I am saying is, Shakespeare will actually lift the person. If I am reading Shakespeare's Macbeth, or if I am reading any work of Shakespeare, what will happen is I will literally transform into that place. I will just journey into that particular place. If we are reading Merchant of Venice, what happens is literally we will go into Venice, and we will watch all the things. We will watch the characters, their life, what is happening to them and all. So he has such a caliber of picturizing, visualizing what is he writing. So this is all. I think you got a small picture about Shakespeare. It's a very small picture. Shakespeare is much more. Even if 10 hours will not be sufficient if I start talking about Shakespeare. So this is a brief thing, and for today what we are going to do is, actually I am going to handle one of the play of Shakespeare. Which will it be? I know you would have gone through your textbooks, you would have read your textbooks, and also I am pretty sure that you will be very much aware of which play am I going to take. Which is that? Yes, exactly, it is Merchant of Venice. Yeah. So, Merchant of Venice is one of the most celebrated, most renowned romantic comedies of Shakespeare. When we talk with someone, when we read some book, when we Google and all, if we Google just romantic comedy, the first thing that will come is Merchant of Venice, because that is celebrated, that is cited as the most suitable example of Shakespearean romantic comedy. What is romantic comedy? Romantic comedy is actually one of the genre or one of the literary device or it's a style, it's a category of Shakespearean plays as we discussed earlier. And this is a 16th century romantic comedy. In romantic comedy, actually, we used to watch movies, right? We used to watch different type of movies. There will be action movies, there will be romantic movies, there will be thriller, there will be horror. Like that, there is different comedy movies and all. So what happens in these kind of romantic comedy plays are, the central theme will be romance. The central theme of the play will be love. Definitely it will be love. But it will arouse a comedy, it will arouse humor. Like when we are watching a movie, we will be really enjoying the movie, we will be really experiencing, we will be really relating to the sequences and the incidents. We will be experiencing that same thing. We will be really laughing and all. So romantic comedy is actually which will evoke our humor sense and will tell a story. Understood? They will tell us a story, they will narrate us a story in a very humorous way. That's romantic comedy. So as I told you before, this is actually a 16th century play. It is a 16th century play. It is believed that it have been written between 1596 and 1599. It is believed that romantic comedy is the 16th century. Just think about 16th century. It's for us, it is just history, isn't it? We don't know anything about that era. We are familiar with that era only because we have all these books around us. So it's a 16th century play, and it is believed that the year that it would have published, they are not sure because they have a vague idea of the publication and all, because at that time there is no that much publications, that much systematic recording of these details, and also as if they have researched and from the resources they consider like the Merchant of Venice by William Shakespeare is published in the year 1596 to 1599. Okay. So the background of the setting, where is the Merchant of Venice is actually centered in Venice. The background is the Venice, the street, the country Venice. It is considered like Venice is considered as a place of trade. Venice is considered as a place of trade because the most population, the greatest population of Venice consider money lenders, business magnates, heiresses and all. So it's a country of trade. Okay. So this is all about a general introduction to the play Merchant of Venice. And I will just vaguely introduce the main characters, the most important characters. Okay. Before that, I will give one more information about the Merchant of Venice. The Merchant of Venice have total 5 acts and different scenes. 5 acts. Merchant of Venice considered 5 acts. And there are many characters. Actually, as I told you before, Shakespearean plays are a combination of a group of characters. It will be really hectic with so many characters, so many small and bigger characters. But it's really interesting to observe all these characters because when he presents a character, he will be giving us good detailing. So even if a character is just come even if it's a maid or just a random one, we will get registered to that character, because he will just picturize from the attire, from the dress, from the looks and all. He will really exaggerate, or he will what should I say? He will really picturize, visualize the whole character, so it will get registered to the reader fast. And so let's look who all are the main characters. I request you, I will send you notes. I don't know how this in our school the system works, but I will definitely send you the notes. Or but even if I send the notes and you have workbook and everything, from this time onwards, I request all of you to keep class notes. Just to keep class notes. It will really help you in your future when you are going for your graduation and all. There will not be a kind of system where we will get all type of materials to study, all notes and all. If you start writing class note, what happens is you will get a kind of resource of your own notes. So it will be more comfortable for you to learn from your own notes. So I suggest writing class notes. It doesn't mean that you don't hear to what I'm saying, just write down, but I'm just saying, like, just write down what you understood, just write down what you feel like it's important. So even I'm saying the characters, when I'm saying the year and all, just write it down, which is convincing for you. Where once after this class, if you are just taking and reading, it should be very much clear to you. In that sense, you just write and keep it. Keep a book for that. Keep a book for English, and please start writing class notes. Okay? And we are going into the characters. So, who is the protagonist? I hope you have read this play before, and there will be, even if it is like that, there will be persons who have not ever read this book. No issues, we can read, we can have a detailed reading on the textbook. But before that, let me ask you, do you have any vague idea of who is the protagonist, who is the person who is leading the story? Who is the central character or the important character, the protagonist of the novel? Sorry, it's not a novel, it's a play, I'm sorry. It's Antonio, A-N-T-O-N-I-O, Antonio. Antonio is the protagonist of this play, The Merchant of Venice. And who is the protagonist? Why I am saying all these words is, actually these are our good vocabularies. When you get a new word, just accept it, just register it, or just write it somewhere in your textbook, in your notebook, and use it when you write essays, when you talk, and also your English will get enriched. Okay, so when you are coming across a new word, just register it inside you, or register it somewhere, write it somewhere, and just start using that word in your daily conversations. Okay, but so who is the protagonist? Protagonist means, actually there will be a central character, in a book, in a movie, or in a play and all. There will be a central character, most important character, who is leading the story. He will be leading the story. He will be the character which gets the most prominent attraction. So he is called the protagonist. So in The Merchant of Venice, in our play, what we are handling now, the protagonist is actually Antonio, A-N-T-O-N-I-O. Okay? And then the next character is Bassanio, B-A-S-S-A-N-I-O, Bassanio. Bassanio is actually Antonio's kinsman. What is kinsman? This is my kinsman. Kinsman is the closest person, the closest one. So Bassanio is Antonio is the protagonist of the play, and Bassanio is the closest person, closest friend of Antonio, Antonio's closest friend. And then comes the next person, Gratiano, G-R-A-T-I-A-N-O. Gratiano. Graciano is actually the friend of Antonio and Bassanio. These three persons are really good friends. Antonio and Bassanio is much more connected, and Graciano is a friend of Antonio and Bassanio. Graciano. And the next character is Lorenzo. 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 So Lorenzo is actually friend of Antonio and Bassanio. Lorenzo is actually the friend of Antonio and Bassanio. He is same like Graciano. So four of them will be friends. They will be knowing each other. And so who all are the four friends that we have in Merchant of Venice? Antonio, Bassanio, Graciano and Lorenzo. So these are the four group of friends, a group of friends with four persons we have in our novel. So just don't leave the names, it's really hard to register, to remember the names of Shakespearean characters. So just register it now itself, and so it will be really easy for you, or you will get really confused. Who is Bassanio, who is Graciano? You will be really confused. So to avoid that confusion, just register the names now itself. Remember it. Okay, Antonio, Bassanio and Graciano and Lorenzo. Okay. Then comes the next person. Her name is Portia. 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 Who's Portia? Portia is actually a rich heiress of Helmond. Helmond is a place in Venice itself, in the near to Venice, and Portia is one of the very famous, wealthy, most beautiful heiress of Belmont. She's a very beautiful lady. His father has passed away and he is waiting for her suitors. She and Bassanio have an affection, they build an affection, and later in the story, Portia becomes the wife of Bassanio. They have a kind of affection, they love each other, they build a relationship with each other, and they marry later in the story. So Portia and Bassanio make a couple in the story. Who's Bassanio? Bassanio is the best friend of Antonio, and Portia is the lover, beloved and wife of Bassanio. And then the next character is Nerissa. Nerissa. Who is Nerissa? Nerissa is actually Portia's waiting maid. Waiting maid. What do you mean by a waiting maid? In movies, all of us have good friends, right? We have good friends to share everything, share many things that we are not sharing with our parents, and all. We will share such kind of our emotions, our feelings, our tensions, and all to our friends, right? You have such good friends, right? I know. And so Nerissa is actually Portia, the rich heiress of Belmont. And Nerissa is the friend and the maid, the helper of Portia, and they have a good kind of friendship between them. They love each other, they have a good connection. Portia and Nerissa always talks. Portia shares all her issues, all her sorrows, all her ambitions, all her dreams with Nerissa. And what happened is Nerissa later happens to build a relationship between Graciano. Who is Graciano? We just registered the name of four friends, right? Antonio, Bassanio, Graciano and Lorenzo. So Nerissa, the helper, the handmaid of Portia, is in relationship, is in love with Graciano, the friend of Bassanio. Okay, so we have two couples now. Who all are they? Portia and Bassanio. First couple. The second couple is Nerissa and Graciano. Portia and Bassanio, Nerissa and Graciano. So we have two couples now. Two pair of couples. And comes the next character. His name is Shylock. Shylock. Who is Shylock? Have you heard about Shylock? No. So Shylock is actually Shylock is the most important character, same as Antonio. Antonio is the protagonist. So if Shylock is getting the same importance as Antonio, who will be he? Who will be? Antonio is also the protagonist, somewhat like a hero. So who will be Shylock if he is getting the same importance? Exactly, it is the anti-hero, the antagonist, the anti-hero. So anti-hero is like it will get the same importance, and Shakespeare's anti-heroes are actually very interesting to watch. They will be having many flaws, they will be having many cruelties. All the anti-heroes of Shakespeare is really crooked, and with some humanitarian things, we will find a connection. What happens to me is when I am reading a Shakespeare play, I will get connected to the protagonist, and at the same time I will get connected to the antagonist too, the villain too. Why? Because Shakespeare presents that character that much beautifully. So Shylock is actually a miserly Jew. He is a Jew from religiously he is a Jew, and he is a miser. He is really a crooked person. He loves money more than anything in the world, and his profession itself is money lending. He is a money lender. His profession itself is money lending. And then what happens is this Shylock and Antonio and Bassanio come into a business, not a business, they come into an agreement. Shylock lends money to Bassanio, and all the complication occurs. That's the story is all about. And so this Shylock is having a rivalry, a dislike towards Antonio, because Antonio is a person of virtue. He is having all good habits, and Antonio is against Shylock because he is charging high interest for lending money, and the people is actually they are really their situation is really weird when once they lend money from Shylock, because from the next month onwards the interest will be really high and they will be literally locked up in that debt. So Antonio always speak and work against this kind of money lenders, and what he does is he lent money to all people who ask him whenever he has money without any interest. So what happened is Shylock really hate Antonio because he knows that he is against this money lending, and by lending money without interest, actually this Antonio is a challenge. Antonio is actually a threat for Shylock. Okay, so this is all about Shylock, and we will look what happens in between the characters, what all rivalry, how will Shylock take his revenge towards Antonio, and how will Antonio react back. All these things let's see what all will happen. Okay, and then Shylock, okay, then we discussed about Shylock, and the next important character is Jessica. Jessica is actually Shylock's daughter. As we all know, we had read many books, and in that books we used to read like a very cruel father will be always having two type of children. One, it will be the ditto of their father. They will be really cruel to the people. Otherwise, the child will be really opposite side of their father. It will be really a embodiment of virtue. It will be a good person. Like that, Jessica is a very good person. She is very kind-hearted, and she is against all activities of her father doing to this poor people and all. So Jessica is actually the daughter of Shylock, and what happens is later Jessica builds a relationship between Lorenzo. Who is Lorenzo? Just recollect the old four friends: Antonio, Bassanio, Gratiano and Lorenzo. So this Jessica builds a relationship but it's a kind of love towards Lorenzo, and they elopes and they marries. Okay, so we have three couple now: Portia and Bassanio, Nerissa and Graciano, and Jessica and Lorenzo. Okay, so in the four friends, three have relationships, and Antonio is alone. Okay. So this is all about the characters. So I hope you have got a brief introduction towards Merchant of Venice. From the very next class, I will give you a plot overview, just an overview what is going to happen in the two acts. Okay, then we will go detailed into that. Okay, I will give an overview first. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you understood, and I'm just asking for a small work you should do for me. So the work is like just write about, just research, just read some book, and just have a look on Google and just write about Shakespeare's romantic comedy. Shakespeare's romantic comedies. Just write a small paragraph, 10 sentences enough, about romantic comedies of Shakespeare. Okay, the topic is romantic comedies of Shakespeare. Don't copy paste from Google. Just listen, just read, and just learn, and just write to me. Okay. So thank you so much. I hope you understood. If there is any clarification, you are really free to ask to me and come to me. So let's see in the next class. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.